That's an interesting aspect, isn't it, Glenn? I'll give you the final word, Glenn. Talking specifically then about consensus across Europe on this issue of the Iran nuclear deal, if we're completely honest with ourselves, if anything becomes unstable within Iran, that affects Europe, doesn't it? Because it creates instability closer to Europe. Do you think Europe is taking into account its own really national security, or just security in general, I should say, of the entire bloc, as well as, of course, trade? I mean, trade is also vital and really important for Europe when it comes to Iran. We've already had those automakers who, when they've left Iran in the past, they've gone into loss, at least in the first year after leaving.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and I think that the trade piece is important. And this really sort of shines a light on the fact that the European Union is very strong on trade, but when it comes to issues like we're dealing with at the moment, is still very weak and is very little more than a bystander in these kind of topics. I think it's the issue we're looking at here is that the fact on our own European doorstep to be able to do something about this, and there is enlightened self-interest. There has been a lot of time and effort put into fighting against Islamic State, militants looking at the risk that is being posed, and this goes to Iran and further afield as well. But I think that we're seeing this, that we want to be able to keep a lid on this, actually deal with the issues in the countries themselves, and actually sort of work together to be able to look to these topics. The leverage over the US is actually is limiting over time, and this is something of extreme concern. And as Jonathan was saying before as well, I think that a Europe led by Macron, who basically wants to put European policy as French policy writ large, is not necessarily the most positive route that we want to go down. And that is something that needs to be checked as well as we go forward.